Hi guys, it's Julia Ann here. Today's day 9. I did start a video, but unfortunately it keeps cutting off, so I'm going to figure this one out. So hopefully this will run longer. And I'm also going to challenge myself to see if I can go online and maybe put them together. So it'll either be day 9 part 1 and part 2, or I'm going to somehow put them together. So anyway, if I don't manage to put them together, basically the essence of the other video was that yesterday I was able to paint. I just didn't want to paint in my space. You can kind of see my space. I thought I'd show you a little bit of it. It is my house. It's my dining room that I took over a couple of years ago, and it's been my space where I paint, but I have to keep everything here. So I not only have to keep all my art materials, that I have to keep, like my table I've got here along on the wall, as you can see. If I can you can see my little shelves that I've had put up. My desk over there where I've got my computer and I do all of those sorts of things. So everything's got to be in here. And then not only that, but I have all this art. I have art coming out of my ears. I've got huge pieces like this one. I've got, down to this sort of size. They're just everywhere. I have art all over the place, everywhere, and up there, over there. And I've realised that I need to live life how I truly believe it needs to be lived, and in doing that I need to actually do it rather than talk about it. So part of my talking about it and doing it is getting rid of things. Not in a like that they're awful, but just in order to open room for more things to come into your life, you need to let go of some things. Where I think up until this point I've held on to it and I've kept it, and it's not been very good for me. So I have, with my house and all sorts in general, is to let go of things that don't make me feel really excited. So I've gone through this morning some of my art, and I've been looking at it, and some pieces, like for example this one. As you can see, my art before was very patterned, repetitive patterns, very flat. I drew it out and then I would paint it. Again, this is another one. They're absolutely lovely, and to me they mean so much. I remember painting them. They have my heart in them. However, they were done 2011, and it's a long time to keep art that's just around. And you've only got so many walls to put it up in your own home. So I have decided that I'm going to let some of it flow out. And so I have contacted different people to see if they want some of my art. The lovely moth butterfly one that I absolutely love was from a picture that I took at Tropical World in Leeds. I don't know if any of you know, but I've contacted them to see if they want it to hang it up there. And then a couple of friends have been interested in pieces that I've also contacted to let this flow out. So lots of ideas. So once I've started with the idea of letting it go, the ideas are coming in of how I can do it. And then with some of these pieces, I've decided that I'm just going to paint over. I'm just going to reuse the materials because they're canvases that are fine. But I can just paint over them and bring them into who I am now. And then, and last of all is some of these. I did some prints for a show that I did on some of my artwork, and I just thought, you know what, it's Mother's Day coming up. How lovely would that be, if you could give that to your mum, a print that they could, it's just on some cardboard and some paper, but inside there you could get it framed for them, and So I'm thinking of some ways of being able to pass these on. So I have 4 prints and the main picture, and I've got that for these 2, which are beautiful. I think they're lovely, but then I am biased. So if any of you have any ideas of how I can do this, just to forward it on, maybe for a charity or something. Anyway, and then obviously for the Yorkshire Movement and Dance Company that I went to their workshop at the weekend, absolutely brilliant, but they're in need of money. And so with this one being a dancer, I thought that the prints, again I've got 4 prints of that I could maybe donate these to them and see if they can get some money for the company. So all these different ideas are coming through. So these ones are going to be hopefully providing something for somebody somewhere. And for me, what I get out of it is that somebody are enjoying my art. Somebody is having it in their home, enjoying it. And that's why I create it. I create it because I love the process of it, and I love putting part of me onto the canvas or onto the board or whatever it is. And that then somebody then gets to see that every day, and it, you know, they look at it and it might make them smile, or, you know, just stop and take a minute to enjoy life. So if that can happen with these, and it can help a company stay afloat, then actually I'm up for that. So any ideas, guys, if you have any for that would be great. So, and in the meantime, you can see, actually, it's such a great way, if you can see, the boards behind me are the ones that I'm really loving at the moment. And you can see what I've done previously and the difference between the 2. I mean, you can just see how much growth and how much I have moved on, and we all move on. And so this is such a great exercise for me as a person, and any of you, if you have things clutter in your home, it's the same thing. Even if you put it in the loft, which I intended to put these in the loft, you still think about it. It's still in your mind, and every time you go up in the loft, you look at them and you think, oh, they're still here, or that, you know, you as a creator, you're creating something for it to flow out and for somebody else to enjoy, not to sit in the loft. It just makes no sense. So yeah, so I've got quite a few ideas with different things, and then there's a local cafe in the park as well, which I thought these would be really lovely for. These are some, for me, they have quite a significance in that they were the beginning of moving away from drawing it out and then painting it. Because now I don't draw anything. And this one was the beginning of that, where I think the only thing I did was kind of have the outline shape of the flower, and then a very brief bit of the bee. And as you can see, I mean, I just love this one. And I know the colours are really garish and it's crazy, but it was the first time that I was free and I was just putting paint down, and it was becoming more abstract rather than really, you know, like you can see, for example, in this one, it's really detailed, it's precise on the butterfly, where this one was becoming less so, and then I did another one that kind of went with it, which, I mean, I love these. So, yeah, so I'm thinking, imagine if these were in the cafe where you went for a coffee at the park. I mean, they would just brighten up your day, wouldn't they? I mean, I think so. And I think they're so interesting. I don't know if you can tell, but you can, the texture, I'm hoping that you'll be able to see that. I mean, it's just some real texture going on here. It's lovely. But again, it was a process going from the very detailed drawing into these more abstract things. And then when I did the online course with Nicholas Wilton, and if anybody ever is thinking of doing it, just do it, because it's amazing. my process of my painting was a lot freer, where I was just beginning rather than drawing it and just starting with a brushstroke, like I was showing on the other video, you know, just crazy things, and you think, oh my goodness, where this going? But then, as it turns out, you know, you start bringing in more details, more specific shapes, and it becomes something that I mean, I love it. I'm just not sure what to do with it next, but that's what will happen. Maybe tomorrow, the day after, I'll have a look at that one. But all of a sudden, if you keep looking at it and seeing it, and then some inspiration will come through, and then you can just take it to that. There's just a little bit of something that needs to just bring it up, and then it's nearly finished. So I'm really pleased about that. So yes, so these, hopefully they will want them. I've contacted them, so fingers crossed that they do, and that they think it's a good idea to have them up and brighten some people's lives. So I'm now going to show you the process of painting over, which it's actually making me want to cringe. But I know that it's going to be really good for me. I know that by making these bold moves, like in so many of the other things, making these bold moves are helping me grow as an artist and as a person and in everything. And it's one thing that I asked my dad, actually, when I was going to start out on my own. He set up a brilliant business and did successful, you know, was really successful. And I just said to him, well, what was the one thing that you would tell yourself starting again? If you were starting again, what would you say to yourself? And he said that I would be more bold, that I would take more risks, you know, and the things that you perhaps think, and you think, oh, are they going to work? Are they not going to work? It's like just be bold and try it and see. So this is me kind of going bold and trying it and see, and giving away this part of me. Yes, I'm like, oh, money, materials, the time, the love, but I do believe there's a block within me for my art, and there's a block to let it go, and there's something that's holding it. So I'm letting go of that, and by doing that in this manner, which is actually pushing me to a limit, is really helping me get over that and dissolve it and love it and move on. So I'm just going to do a quick painting demonstration of me going over one. You can see my pain and feel my pain with me, but I truly believe that this will help. So let me put these down. Okay, so I'm going to start. Hey ho, let's just start with this one. This is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, love it. But let's just make it something more. Let's move it on 8-9 years. 8 years, crikey. Okay, so I'll move my chair. So we're going to move it on. There's a top tip as well, as you're, actually I'm going to sit down, you probably can see me a bit better. Top tip when you're painting is, which I only learned recently actually, was to wet your paintbrush before you put it in the paint. It stops it all clogging down here, so when you can clean it, it's better. So if you go in with a dry brush, all the paint clogs, where if it's wet, it comes off easier. Brilliant top tip. Anyway, so I'm just going to come in with some really plain colour, well, non-colour of white. So I've got lots of white here ready. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of grey in it. I'm going to get my line as well. I'm going to come in. Okay, can do this. Goodbye with the old and in with the new. All right. Okay. Now the thing is with acrylic, it is very much like glue, and therefore Once you've done this, there's no going back. All right. It's quite freeing, actually. Feels like the right thing to do. And I'm starting to trust that a little bit more. So here's to trusting. And I would say as well, you know, let me know if there's any bold moves that you're doing in your life. I'd love to know if anybody's doing anything to just push themselves, just to grow. You have to kind of expand out of where you are. And expanding out of where you are means moving on to something else. So here we go. Now you can see I'm being a little bit tentative with this. I'm trying to think too much where I need to just go with it and flow. Yes. So I need to just let go, Juliet. Hopefully you're all rooting for me right now. But we will see where this goes. So I'm just going to move that bit of pain and to have a bit of that freedom that I was telling you about before. And just seeing. You can see, oh, crazy! You're like, what has she done? That's more like what I'm saying, but anyway. Yeah. Really nice. Okay. So, that's a little layer on there. Now, I'm going to continue on with this. And I'm also going to continue on with some of these bigger pieces. This bigger, huge one. It just goes on and on and on and on and on and on, as you can see. But I think, again, I've moved on from where I was with this. This is like probably 9 months ago when I did this. And I just think that some of these moves that I'm making in this one here, where you can see the interest of the detail coming through. So maybe I come down here and I sort of block off, you know, so if I can use this here, you know, and I can sort of block off areas and, you know, bring some of that bold shapes, the straight lines into this curved thing, so you've got the differences there. I think it's actually going to really improve it, because I love this. And again, you know, there's lots of me in there. This one's a real mixed media. It has all sorts of paper and so many layers on it. It's lovely. But yeah, I'm going to come in and do some of the bold moves again, and then so watch out for this one on Instagram as I put that out there later today. So I'll see you then. Anyway, thanks ever so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon. All right then, bye.